Okay, let's see here. Got a little pre-show going on here. Just waiting for it to show up on live here. This is Bill Bostic preparing to do Linglestown Gazette morning update. Yep, I think it's arriving here. Here we go. Hello. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I'm going to click that. Yep, there we go. I need a director. All right. We'll kick it off officially. Welcome to President's Day 2019. Yes, it's President's Day, and you've tapped into, whether you like it or not, Linglestown Gazette morning update. With me, I'm Bill Bostic, your local yokel newscaster, and we're brought to you, as always, by Consolidated Insurance Services. Over there in the metropolis of Paxtonia, behind the Carnes Food Plaza, 6109 Jonestown Road, look for the Erie Insurance sign, would ya? Go see David Jones and Bill over there. They'll help you out, as they do my family. Specifically my daughter, and we've given them a lot of business here with my daughter, believe it or not. So welcome to President's Day. What we got going for you is we got a celebrity watch going on here. It's one of our top stories. We're also going to be taking a look at a couple watchdog issues. One is related to the Susquehanna Union Green proposed housing development, village-style development there at Susquehanna. In Susquehanna Township along in the Linglestown Road corridor. We're also going to be taking a look at the government meetings for the week. And don't run away. You need to find out about government meetings, would you? And then, of course, our standard fare with some community news, a look at sports, mention of sponsors, all that kind of thing. Of course, what we're doing here, folks, we're here for two reasons. One, local matters, all right? Local is where it's at. You know, I know stuff happens in D.C. I don't fully understand it. You know, the wall and I don't know. I know squabbling, stuff that you see on all the major networks. That's great, but the stuff that really impacts your life is local matters. That's what we do here. And then the other part we're trying to do, and this is where we're going to segue into some celebrity stuff here in just a second, is we're trying to create the community watchdog system, and that's something you're part of. You know, any news organization, especially a local one that's going to be a boutique newsroom, you know, we need the help of citizens. We are getting some help. Susan George, Dave Caesar, Becky Ryder Craft or Becky Craft, and others have contributed here and there, and that's just the beginning of what we're calling the community watchdog system. Now, let's move into Celebrity Watch, and sort of part of that's going to be related to this whole thing. But first of all, a little shout out to Anthony Cristillo, Ron Marsico, and his grandson Wade Marsico. They made arrangements for Linglestown Gazette Sports. And I was the only one available to go to the Mr. PA football banquet there at the Best Western Premier just off of Union Deposit Road on Saturday night. This is where they honor top football players in all of Pennsylvania. And the guest speaker, as I guess has happened in the past, is Penn State head football coach James Franklin, who's a real big supporter of this Mr. PA football program. I guess that this happens in other states as well, but nevertheless, I went to say hello to the former state representative for our area, Ron Marsico. He said, "Hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Get on over there to the side room and talk to James Franklin." And I had George, my assistant. I was unpacking my stuff, trying to get ready to go, and I said, you know, James was nowhere in sight. I had him go out and track him down. And so I was pretty confident this was going to happen. And what happened was I was trying to get my gear together in this little tiny box that you have to plug into your phone so that you can hear the microphone, right? Well, that didn't work. I had changed out the battery, tested it at home. Of course, everything was fine. I get to the Best Western premiere. It's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, the interview is going to suck with James Franklin. So I'm scrambling around, messing with the battery contacts. It comes to life. James comes in, talks to another station, and then I had my chance. So that's on Linglestown Gazette Sports and Linglestown Gazette Facebook pages, those two. I'll have to admit to you, because of the technical snag and the fact that I really haven't, I'm not used to talking to people who are, I guess, semi-famous or famous, whatever you want. I was a little nervous, but I was prepared, and I made it through fine. The only big snafu was I wanted to wish Coach Franklin good luck this coming football season, which is the 2019 football season. I said 2020. So anyway, he didn't rip me for that. Thank goodness. And tomorrow, if you stop back, I'll tell you another little snippet about James Franklin that I picked up on. Oh man, lots of people here this morning. I'd like to say good morning to Tom Gingrich, Lisa Smith, Denise Holliday, Kane Smells, David Jones. David's asking, can I investigate why there was a 2-hour delay today? I think it's probably because they were concerned about ice. That would be my thought. I'm not going to speak for the school district. So, and I think since that school bus accident, Superintendent Carol Johnson's going to be really, really careful about anything related to bad weather and bus drives. Becky Kraft, good morning to you. Now, we're involved, of course, in trying to reinvent local journalism. That's part, it's sort of behind the scenes, that's one of the things we're trying to do. Because local journalism in some areas, including ours, that was primarily served by a major news outlet, we're struggling. If this little operation, this little pipsqueak operation called Linglestown Gazette's all we have, that shows you that local journalism needs to be reinvented. Of course, one of the things that's going to take is some money, not a huge amount of money, but a significant amount of money to put the platform out there in a way that it's going to be permanent and more and more robust, more reporting going on and all that kind of thing. Right now we're in the midst of trying to put that together, and the celebrity watch continues here because one of the things we probably will end up doing is putting together some sort of gala, some sort of event where we can bring people together. Let's be honest, the primary reason is to raise money for local journalism when this gala is held. But to do a gala, you need to have some sort of attraction. People are not going to turn out to support local journalism. I can tell you they will not. But if you put something out there that's interesting, maybe they would. Now, some of you are going to laugh at what I'm saying, and I understand that. I've gotten ripped by people before when I say these kinds of things, but I'm of the school, why not think big, okay? If you think medium or you think small, that's where you're going to hit. Why not think big? Because it might happen. I'm not saying anything I'm going to tell you is easy, but it might happen. So those of you who've been here regularly know that I've been smitten by Lady Gaga. And combine that with the idea, there's this theory out there that, you ever hear of 6 degrees of separation? In other words, we're not that many contacts away from reaching anyone in our society, given especially today with the internet and all the connectivity we have between. I just talked to a business associate in India, or as my one friend says, India. In India. Why can't we reach Lady Gaga? I would like to get somehow, some way, get Lady Gaga to be part of a gala. If she's here, that'd be phenomenal. It could be a videotape, it could be something where she's speaking to us Linglestonians Lower Pax Townshipians. You know, that's the kind of, so we're thinking big. If any of you have any connections to Lady Gaga, let me know. Or if any of you think you might have a connection, indirectly we get to Lady Gaga, let me know. She's big into mental health. Maybe we can get her into local journalism. That's the fabric of our country. Okay? So anyways, that's Lady Gaga. I like to try. I'm going to shoot big. Now, if I end up something less than that, that's fine. And if you want to criticize me for thinking big, that's your prerogative. I mean, I've had one person say, "Oh, if you're going to do that kind of thing, I don't want to be involved with it." Well, I'm thinking big. That's how it's going to roll. Let's move over to our Kane Mortgage Community Watchdog Report. Kane Mortgage, members of the nationwide mortgage licensing system, 51058. All right, and you know, if you're going to be buying a home, you need to get your monies together. Go see Kane; he'll help you out. That's the big thing. Kane Mortgage. A little tidbit, you know, last week the big news coming out of Susquehanna Township that impacts us here in Lower Paxton is that after many years of planning and tens of thousands of dollars of money being dumped into zoning issues, and I don't know if there was any litigation or not, the Susquehanna Union Green development at the intersection of Linglestown Road and Progress Avenue finally got the green light. I believe it's 5 phases. The first phase has been approved, and that's just for infrastructure, you know, streets, stormwater, trees, you know, different things like that. There's no buildings going to be happening, but those buildings will be coming soon. And here's what I wanted to share with you, and it's something that needs to be investigated. A couple key things have to happen that are not in place. First of all, like any other development, including like Blue Ridge Village at the former Blue Ridge Country Club, these developers have to go to PennDOT and get a highway occupancy permit, or HOP. If you're really into it, you don't say highway occupancy permit, you say HOP. That's how they talk at these meetings I go to. So that's in the progress. I mean, Susquehanna Union Green does not have a highway occupancy permit yet. But the other part they have to get that's just as important is they have to get a sewage module, their sewage plan. You know, when you flush the toilet or you put stuff down this kitchen sink, what happens to that water? You need a plan. You need a way of cleaning that water before it ends up in the Susquehanna River and eventually the Chesapeake Bay. Okay, I have looked at the sewage information for this project, and there's a former employee of the township that has some insider knowledge, and you know there were some real concerns over the years that there isn't enough sewage capacity to handle this this development that's going to have businesses, a hotel, senior housing, single-family homes. There just isn't enough capacity. And when you read the summary of this sewage plan, what it says is, I think they're making a case that improvements have been made to the system that has raised up the capacity, and they believe there's enough capacity now. However, if there's wet weather, like we've been having for almost 2 years now, if there's wet weather, whenever this thing's fully built out, there could be overflows. There could be overflows. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that means the system is not big enough to handle this. It has to be tight enough that even when it rains, you don't have overflows. So at this point, the township officials have said, thumbs up, we got the sewage capacity. That was said last week when I was at the meeting in Susquehanna Township. But now it has to go to DEP. And you know, we as citizens, and even though we're in Lower Paxton Township, this impacts us with the highways and roads and everything else in our environment. We got to make sure that, in my opinion, speaking on an editorial basis, I don't want that system overflowing when it gets wet. So this is something that needs to be looked at. If you're interested in this, maybe you can help me look into that. More closer to home, Central Dauphin School Board meets tonight. A made-up meeting. They weren't able to meet last week due to the weather. One of the things we'll be talking about, of course, is that swap, an alternative investment that few people understand. I sure don't understand it. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I just don't understand it. And then the other one I wanted to mention is West Hanover Township, the West Hanover Township Elementary School. I think one of the best elementary schools from an academic perspective. There's a new school being erected out there in West Hanover next to the current one. And most of the current one's going to be ripped down at some point after the school year. So they're going to be getting an update on that project tonight. Tomorrow night, Lower Paxton Township supervisors will be in action. I'll be reviewing that agenda and more information about that tomorrow. All right, that does your top stories. What you're listening to or watching is Linglestown Gazette Morning Update brought to you by Consolidated Insurance Services. Hey, did you know that we have a YouTube channel? We sure do. Go to YouTube, plug in Linglestown Gazette, and you'll find our channel. If on your phone, you may want to ask to be notified whenever we put something new up there. Okay. So that want to let you know that. Let's move over to community news brought to you by St. Thomas Roasters Coffee House in Linglestown, where today their dark roast is Colombian Supremo. I'm not going to be able to say the medium one. Medium roast Mexican Oaxaca. That's my best chance. It's a Mexican one. The mild roast is Tanzanian Peabody. The flavor's vanilla. And decaf is Colombian. All right. Head over there to St. Thomas Roasters, or some people refer to it as STR. I like to call it Roasters. That's what I call it. Linglestown Gazette is getting involved. Our team of people affiliated with us are getting involved in public service. This week, a small group of us will be helping out the Panther Ram Foundation in their NutriPack program. That's going to be on Wednesday. It's amazing. I mean, I think it's 800 backpacks that they send home with students filled with food for the weekend during the school year. That just shows you that there is a level of low-income people, poverty, and that type of thing that's within our community. And the Panther Ram Foundation, affiliated with the school district, is helping out. Also, Linglestown Gazette is supporting Katie Hanshaw, a student at Central Dauphin High School who's competing for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Student of the Year. She's trying to raise $50,000. And yesterday she held a chicken barbecue. I believe she told me she raised over $2,000 yesterday. And last night we raised some money during our high school expo. So be on the lookout. We're going to be promoting a 5K run that's coming up. I think it's March 2nd. Early in March, she's doing something out at the high school, a 5K run. And we're coming down the home stretch here with the Linglestown Gazette Morning Update this morning. Tonino's Pizza brings us our sports report, and they were our, just to jump into that, they were our title sponsor last night for the second Linglestown Gazette Sports, Tonino's Pizza and Grill High School Hoops Expo. I believe we had 13 or 14 teams come into Ted's Bar and Grill in West Hanover Township for a celebration of high school basketball. Many of the kids are going to be heading into the District 3 playoffs, which start, I think they might even start in some areas today, certainly tomorrow night. So we had a great celebration last night. I'd like to thank everyone that participated. And we actually raised $75 for Katie Hanshaw last night at Ted's for her effort to raise $50,000. In the wrestling, big news coming out of Central Dauphin Rams wrestling over the weekend. They were the gold medal winning team in the sectional individual tournament. So this is an individual tournament, but they also do a team competition. Central Dauphin Rams won that handily. They are sending 10 wrestlers to the District 3 Individual Championship this coming Friday and Saturday at Hershey Park Arena. And you know what Hershey Park Arena, I mean, it's called the Old Barn. You know, this is the old, it's not the Giant Center. They're going to be at Hershey Park Arena. So it's been many a year since I've been over in that place. maybe I'll have to get over there. Did mention basketball. Central Dauphin Rams boys team, after a great turnaround season, they won 3 last year. This year, they're heading to the District 3 playoffs. They're going to be at home tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, I believe, is tip-off. They'll be hosting the, Manheim Township out of Lancaster County, the Manheim Township Blue Streaks. And I think Rams are better than Blue Streaks. So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. Linglestown Gazette will be covering that game in some form or fashion, sponsored by Crystal Bob Realtor. And lastly, I do want to mention our other sponsors, CBC Cabinetry and Flooring. And, of course, wearing the Fat Man hat today, fatmanclothingcompany.com. I mentioned it last week. We're going to follow through with it. Today, starting this week, we're going to reduce our schedule from, 5 days a week to 3 days a week. We're going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday starting today. It looks like I probably went way over time today, but nevertheless, that's the way it goes. 5 of you watching, I think it had been up to about 10. So we're going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that I have more time to work on building this boutique newsroom and getting it on more solid ground. I'll have to something has to give, and that's one of the things we're going to give. You still can get news every day with the Linglestown Gazette Daily Update. Check that out. So that's it for today. Thanks to everyone who stopped by. This is Bill Bostic, your wannabe Walter Cronkite, signing off for Consolidated Insurance Services. We'll see you on Wednesday with our next morning update. Have a great Monday and President's Day.